Well, this is kind of a bonus really, because I didn't expect to actually take any photographs here on the way up to the high moor. I was expecting all my photographs to be up on the top. But of course I haven't left that late today and the sun's already quite high in the sky, so I don't think I'm going to get much when I get to the top. But I'll tell you what, there's some fantastic mist at the moment down in the valleys. And all of the moorland on the other side of this field is shrouded in that mist, and it creates a completely blank background and you can't see anything. So you might ask, and you'd be quite right to ask, why on earth I've stopped here to take a photograph. Well, first of all, it's a scouting mission, and if you're not going to take different photographs than you wouldn't normally and find new locations, what's the point of going out on a scouting mission? But it actually is a beautiful little scene, and I was sure that there was a composition here and something I could make of it, because the way that these grasses are backlit looks really, really fantastic. So I thought, well, why not just stop and find something? It does pay to look through the viewfinder of the camera sometimes and look at things from the perspective of what it's going to look like when you actually take the photographs. And the reason I say that is because it wasn't until I looked through the camera that I spotted this little gate down in the corner of the field that really works quite well. So what I've done is I've composed that gate towards the top third of the picture and let all the grasses down in the foreground. So that means that I've got very, very little sky in the scene. But I did want that blank background in the scene as well, because I think when I process it in the computer, I'm going to warm up the highlights a little and let that take on the warm colours that we get at dawn, which I think is going to add to the atmosphere. But what I really liked in this picture was the way that all these grasses and these flowers were all backlit, and I think that comes out really, really, really good. So what I'm going to do is crop this eventually into a 16:9, maybe even narrower than that, and make it a true letterbox picture with just that gate in the top, these backlit photographs, the silhouette of the hedge and the warm, dull sort of light coming through the sky from behind at dawn. Hopefully that's going to give us a nice picture. So whilst I struggle on back up this hill towards the top of the moorland, I'll put this photograph up for you guys and you can enjoy looking at it. Well, I wasn't expecting that. This was supposed to be a scouting mission. I wasn't expecting fantastic mist, foggy conditions, warm lighting and everything. And I even had a script. I keep it on my phone, but it seems pointless actually looking through it. I do know on there that I had a few things on there talking about this location and how it's worth going out, and that I wouldn't really realise until I got to this location exactly how all these elements work together. What I didn't expect was that I was going to get really foggy, really misty conditions. But that's exactly what I have got, and it's looking really quite fantastic. So I've got this scene behind me where we've got the, like you say, the beacon itself on the left-hand side. We've got the stone wall coming down this side of me, and I'm just trying to work these elements into some sort of composition. Now I'm sure on normal lighting conditions you have absolutely fantastic views from here as well, but actually, you know what, I prefer the misty conditions. I prefer the bit of mood and all the rest of it and the changing lighting conditions. And even as I'm sat here now, I can see a faint sort of glow starting to develop, and you just don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know if the sky is going to suddenly clear, if the cloud's going to go away, if the mist is going to reveal things to us or whatever. But it really, really works very well. So I have set up a composition. I've set up a composition where I've got the beacon itself in it, this dry stone wall going away into the distance. Not that you can see far into the distance, but that's the point of the picture. It may even turn out to be a monochrome photograph. I'm not actually sure yet because it's very low contrast. There's not a lot of tones in it. So we're going to have to see what we do. We might make it very airy, very light, and just use those misty conditions and atmosphere that it creates. So I'm going to take this picture. So I'll put some information up on the screen. So I'm shooting at ISO 100, 30th of a second, f11 at the moment. I'm also using the self timer. So we'll just take that picture, and because the conditions are so hazy, what I'm going to actually do is I'm also going to take some which are slightly overexposed, so I can get that very light airy feel if I want to process them that way. It's not going to be a problem darkening it or making a darker version of this picture, but so there we go. I won't go any further than that. So another picture in the bag. I'm actually quite hungry and needed coffee, so I wasn't going to stay at this spot, but I've decided that's exactly what I'm going to do. So a bit of breakfast for Ruby and I now. It's time to throw the skip. It's time to throw the script away and start thinking differently, because these weather conditions are not what I expected today. So it's while walking along this track really between Hemel Down and the next point that I'm going to, the name escapes my mind, but I cross a place called Two Barrows and Broad Barrow. And it really sort of brought it home to me that actually when you're out walking in the landscape, and when you're doing these type scouting missions, although this is turned into a bit more of a photographic delight rather than just a scouting mission, that you pass through not only through a landscape, but you're passing through history, especially in a location like this. And that was something else that I wanted to talk to you about during the scouting mission really, because the more that you learn, the more that you understand a landscape, the more it makes sense to you, the greater meaning that your images will have. So for me, it's not just about coming out and taking pictures, it's about learning about the landscape, learning about our history as well, and how man has sort of changed the moorland and worked in these areas. And that's one of the beautiful things about coming back to locations and getting to know them better. And it's one of the reasons I like doing these scouting trips as well, because not only does it open up new possibilities, it also brings about a new, deeper connection with the landscape. So here we are, final destination. The point of today's walk was to get to Grimspound, where I am now, on Dartmoor. And the idea was to sort of use a different route that I'm previously used. So before I came from, I don't think you can even see it really because it's just too bright in the background, but I came from the place over my shoulder, and it was a good route, but I thought that there was more potential coming from this side, and indeed there is. We followed the trek from Widdicombe up over Hemel Down Tor, past the beacon and the cross, and finally down to here. I would like to have stopped on the top of this tour and taken some shots down to show you the full size of the circle, but unfortunately it's just too much fog and mist, and I didn't expect that. But I'm not disappointed by it, I'm really not, because it's opened up some other opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to have taken had we had bright sunlight, cloudless skies, which was actually forecasted. Now the mist is starting to break up a little bit now, so it might be that that's what's coming, but I think we've got a little bit more time just to get some pictures before that mist breaks up completely. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to take a few more pictures before it breaks up, and we'll see what we get from that. So I've actually already found a composition, and what I'm doing is I've composed it with I've composed the picture with the stone circle down in the bottom right hand corner, and the entrance to Grimspound, the big outer ring itself, up in the top left. Now we're shooting directly into the sun. It's really quite bright. I'll try and turn you around and show you, but I think it's going to be so overexposed, it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, you can't really see anything on there. Okay, so I'm going to put that photograph up on the screen for you. Okay, so I think we've had the best of the light today. It's starting to break up now. We are getting that blue sky coming up. I'm going to have a bit more of an explore and take some more photographs, so I may or may not put those up at the end of the video. But basically that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed it today. I hope you sort of got an idea of why it's important to come out and sort of make sure you scout, and you never know what you're going to find when you're out and about. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share it amongst all your friends. And of course as well, if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.